Welcome to Stillwater's Wreath Designs, friends. Come on in. Today I'm going to teach you the Deco Mesh Poof and Double Curl Wreath Base method. You'll need your choice of 10-inch Deco Mesh, a 15-inch work wreath frame, a good pair of scissors, or your rotary cutter and self-healing mat. I'll leave a materials list below in the description of this video for you, as well as some links to all of my favorite wreath making websites. All right, friends, let's dive in. We're going to start on the lower level, and it doesn't matter which set of ties. And the first thing we need to do, friends, we're going to use our tan or burlap looking deco mesh here. I'm going to just grab my scissors and cut this so that it's got a little bit of a better straight edge. And what I want you to do, let me push that off to the side here for a minute. Just roll out a bit of your deco mesh. Again, this is 10 inches. And I want you to curl side down, just lay it down on your work area, leaving your hands stationary. At the end of your deco mesh here, you're going to just scrunch and gather this deco mesh together. So I'm just walking it into my thumbs until I reach the end. And then we've got this inch to inch and a half nub here. So I'm going to take this inch and a half nub and fold it under. And what I'm doing here, friends, when I do that, I'm tucking that raw edge away so that it's getting very little exposure and therefore very little opportunity to fray. So I'm going to take that folded in nub and come to any set of lower ties. Take that nub and open up your first set of ties on the lower level. Place your nub all the way down at the center of that V, all the way to the base, and then take those ties and give them a couple of tight twists. And continue to point them outwards or away from the center. And we're going to make 10-inch poofs, friends. So when we measure our poofs, if you've got a self-healing mat, that will work great for your measurements. You can also use a ruler, a tape measure, anything that you have laying around to grab some measurements. And we want our poofs to be 10 inches in length. And to measure, you're going to take the most recent set of ties that you've added mesh into. In this case, it's our starter piece. And you're going to measure out by placing that set of ties onto your marking spot, and then you'll measure out 10 inches. So since this is sitting on the 15-inch mark, I know that I need to measure out to the 25-inch mark. And once you've identified that 10-inch spot, you're going to do the same thing by scrunching and gathering that deco mesh into your thumbs. So we're just walking that into our thumbs, friends. And then we've got this bit of deco mesh here that's approximately a 10-inch poof. It doesn't have to be perfect. Nobody's going to measure. So with one hand, keep a hold of your deco mesh poof. With the other hand, move on to that very next set of ties on the lower level. Grab your deco mesh and place that all the way down to the center of that V of your ties, all the way to the base, and give it a couple of tight twists, like so. Point those ties outwards so they don't get caught up on one another. And you've just created your first 10-inch poof. It doesn't look like much yet, friends, but stick with me. It's going to be pretty amazing once we get finished. Let's do one more together, and then we'll speed through adding in our poofs to the lower level. So I'm just going to take my ties where I've just cinched down my deco mesh. I've got it on that 15-inch mark, so I'm going to come out to the 25-inch mark, which tells me I've got 10 inches of my deco mesh. And then I'm going to scrunch and gather, pulling that mesh into my thumbs. And then keeping a hold of it with one hand. And then the other hand, I'm going to open up that next set of ties into a wide V. Place that deco mesh all the way down to the center of that V at the base. Give it a couple of tight twists. Poke those guys outwards, and we've just added our second 10-inch poof. We're going to do this all the way around the lower level, friends, and then I'll meet you back here. At this point, we have added our 10-inch poofs all the way around the lower level of our work wreath frame. And we're getting ready to add our very last poof. So we're going to be adding it right on top of where we started our wreath. So just like before, friends, go ahead and find your 10-inch spot, scrunch and gather to create that last lower level poof. And then you're going to come to where we started, gently untwist those ties, and then add that poof right on top. Being careful not to disturb it. They usually sit in place pretty easily. And again, take your ties and give them a couple of tight twists to hold that last poof in place. Point your ties outwards, and we've just added our last lower level poof. And so now, friends, we're going to jump up to the upper level, and we're going to follow the exact same method. However, this time we're going to make 8-inch poofs. We want them to be a tad smaller so that they don't overwhelm the lower level. And the first thing we need to do is to jump our deco mesh up to the upper level. And so what you're going to do is find the closest set of ties to where we're jumping from. In this case, it's in my left hand here. And you're going to take your deco mesh. We're not making a poof at this point, friends. We're just going to take that deco mesh, kind of scrunch that narrowly into our hands, jump it up to the closest set of available ties on the upper level. It doesn't matter if it's, you know, forwards or behind. So we just jumped it straight up, tautly, into that next set of ties, and we're going to give it a couple of tight twists. And then we'll take those ties and point them outward as well. And as you can see, we've just got a solid jump here with no poof. And we're going to follow the same method, friends. However, this time we'll be measuring 8-inch poofs instead of 10. So let's just do one together. I'm on my 15-inch mark. I'm going to pull my deco mesh to the 23-inch mark. It's a little bit trickier on the upper level, but very manageable. Just give yourself some patience. Once you've got your 8-inch poof, go to that next set of ties, add it all the way down to the base of the V of your ties, and give it a couple of tight twists. Then you can point those ties outwards, fluff your poof just a little bit, and move on to the next. Go ahead and add your 8-inch poofs all the way around the upper level of your work wreath frame, and I'll meet you back here. Once you're ready to add your last 8-inch poof to your upper level, you're going to follow the same method, friends. Go ahead and line up your marking spots. Make your 8-inch poof. And we're going to add it right on top of where we added our first poof on the upper level. So just like we did on the lower, friends, gently untie those twists. Gently open up that V. Add your last 8-inch poof right on top of that first one that we added to the upper level, all the way down to the center. And again, friends, give that a couple of tight twists. Point those guys out, and we just added our last poof. So now, go ahead and grab a good pair of scissors, and we're going to trim off this deco mesh because we're done adding our poof. So being very mindful not to cut something you don't intend to, you're going to leave about an inch tail on here. So make sure everything else is free and clear so you're not cutting something you didn't intend to. And that little tail will get covered up with a curl in no time. So now at this point we have added our first layer of deco mesh. This is the poof method, friends. So you can see that it's beautiful and wispy, but still pretty airy. And so we need to give it a little bit more depth. So what I want you to do is go ahead and take your wreath base and set that guy off to the side. And now we're going to prepare the next level of deco mesh for our wreath base. So remember I told you earlier, friends, that we had 18 sets of ties on our wreath frame. What we're going to do now is cut curls out of the other two colors of 10-inch deco mesh. We've got a navy blue, and then we've got a white with a little bit of silver striping in here. And what we're going to do, friends, is cut our curls. So we're going to add 2 curls to every set of ties. So we're going to need 18 cuts of this navy blue. And again, it's 10 inches in width, just like the tan or the burlap we used earlier. And we're going to cut 8-inch pieces. So all you're going to do, friends, is roll out your deco mesh. And then with either your scissors and a tape measure or ruler or your self-healing mat and rotary cutter, you're going to take the rotary cutter and cut 18 8-inch pieces. Just like so. And it doesn't have to be perfect, friends, as close as you can get it. And then set those guys off to the side. Friends, if you're new to wreath making and you're not familiar with the rotary cutter, it literally looks just like a pizza cutter, and it really lets you zip through cutting your deco mesh super quickly and with a nice straight edge. So I would definitely recommend, investing in one at some point, along with a self-healing mat. I'll leave links for both below so that you know where to find them if you choose to do so. So again, we're going to cut 18 pieces of this navy blue at 8 inches in length, and then I'll meet you back here. Once you have all of your 8-inch cuts of deco mesh cut and ready to go, go ahead and grab your wreath base and bring it on up to your workstation. Friends, one thing I like to add, this is basically just a recipe, so feel free to customize this in whatever way you find most enjoyable. Of course, we're doing a nautical beachy theme today, but this is just a recipe, so feel free to follow it and make it your own. Go ahead and grab either a chip clip. I've just got a plastic clothespin from the Dollar Tree, some sort of a clip to help you hold your curls. And remember, we've got 18 ties on our wreath base here, and we're going to add 2 curls per set of ties. And friends, I actually ran out of my white deco mesh, so I'm going to be bouncing back and forth, making navy and white double curls and navy and tan double curls. So to make a curl, if you've not made one before, friends, you're going to take a piece of deco mesh, and it naturally likes to curl in on itself. So as it curls in on itself, you want the curl side to be up. And all you're going to do, friends, to make a curl is just roll that piece right onto itself until you've got a tube, basically. And all you really need to pay attention to is that your ends stay aligned and don't get squirrely. The center of that curl will be, I don't know, probably 1.25 inches in diameter, and then the ends flare out a bit. So in the center of that curl number 1, just take your clip just to hold that curl down for you. And then grab your next color. I'm just going to grab the navy here and do the exact same thing. Curl side up, roll that curl onto itself until you're all the way at the end of that piece of deco mesh. Pinch it in the middle. When you add your curls in, friends, it doesn't matter if you start on the upper level or the lower level. Just make sure that you vary back and forth between the colors. And you want the seam side to be down on your curls. So seam side down for both. I'm going to make a gentle X, pinching in the middle. I'm just going to start on my lower level set of ties. You're going to open up a set of your ties here, and then press that curl X all the way down to the base. Give it a couple of tight twists, and we've just added our first set of curls, just like that. Let's do one more set together, and then we'll speed through this part, friends. So again, I'm grabbing a navy, curl side up. I'm going to curl this guy in on itself all the way to the end of this piece. I'm going to grab my clip and pinch that down in the center. This time I'll grab a white since we're going to vary back and forth. And repeat that process, friends. Curl side up, roll that in onto itself all the way to the end of the piece. Pinch that guy in the middle. Grab that first curl you made, and you want both of them to be seam side down. Make an X. Move on to your next set of ties. Open up that V. Press that X all the way down to the base, and then give it 2 or 3 tight twists to hold that set of curls in place. And then point those ties out, and we've just added our second set of double curls. We're going to add 2 curls to every set of ties on our wreath base, both upper and lower level, and then I'll meet you back here.
And that is all there is to it, friend. As you can see, the Deco Mesh Poof and Double Curl method will give you an extra full wreath base. Thank you for spending some time with me today. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. It helps my little channel to grow. And if you love all things wreath making, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Thanks, friends. Happy crafting.